Everybody, this is our first graders review session for studying poetry. Okay, last time we talked about some of the key elements that you need to be aware of, trying to understand and figuring out the meaning of the sentence of the poem. So here we have roughly 8 key elements that you need to be aware of, trying to understand and approach the poem. And it's almost impossible to define the meaning of the poem because poem is just so wide. Poem can have all kind of different styles and messages and all kind of different sentences inside. So it's almost impossible to define poem with a simple few words or sentences. But when you try to approach and understand the poet, knowing some of the key elements of the poetry definitely will help you to understand the meaning of the poem. So we'll deal with each and every one of these key elements more in depth in due course. But at the moment, let me just briefly touch upon each category, each element. So content is, of course, is the main message or story, main meaning that the poet try to deliver to the audience. So when you try to understand the meaning or the message of the poem, you need to think of what kind of content, what is the main message that this poet is trying to deliver to us. So thinking about content definitely will help you. And since the poem has a poem is using the limited number of words, thinking about the imagery also will help you to understand the meaning and stories and sentences of the poem used in this genre. So they are using a lot of imagery in order to deliver the story and meaning. So always please think about what kind of meaning this imagery in the poem creates, and it will help you to understand the meaning of it. And also thinking about rhythm also help you to better understand the effect or the better understand meaning and the sentence of it. So thinking about the rhythm, what kind of message is delivered by using the rhythm. Also similar to rhyme. Okay, so rhyme is a similar sound or repetitive sound or word that's used at the beginning of the sentence or at the end of the sentence. And the poets, they use rhymes intentionally in order to deliver the message or meaning. So please think about the rhyme, what kind of effect and what kind of meaning it creates when you approach the poem. Okay, so diction is a collection of words or bunch of the words that the poet is using, and each individual poet have a different set of vocabulary, different set of words, and by thinking about the dictions, by thinking about the particular words or vocabulary that a certain poet is using, you might have a better idea of understanding the meaning of the sentence, understanding the meaning of the messages that the poet try to deliver to the readers. Okay, and also we have a lot of different voice. Sometimes you have one voice in one poem, you have multiple number of voices having a conversation and dialogue inside the poem. So thinking about how many voice or what kind of voice is used in the poem will help you to understand the meaning of the poem. Okay, and the forms, as you already know that the poem has all kind of different forms. Certain poem has a really strict rules and others have really no rules. It's just a free verse. So try thinking about the forms when you try to analyze it, and it will help you to what kind of effect it creates and how it contributing to the delivering the message to the readers. And tone and mood, of course, writers and poets, they use different tone in order to create certain mood, and by using a certain tone and mood, it also contributing the delivering the message to the readers. So thinking about the tone and mood also will help you to analyze and understand the meaning of the poems better way. Okay. And in terms of content of the poem, the poetry has all kind of different purpose. So when you think about why this poet wrote this poem, what is the purpose of this poetry? Well, it might be help you to understand the meaning of the message. So we can think about different purpose of the poetry. Some poetry is written just to entertain people, or some poet is written in order to describe something, and some other poems wants to arouse different emotions to the readers, and other poems just want to deliver or just want to say a story to the audience and the readers. And sometimes the poem try to arouse different thought and different ideas to the readers, and some poems written in order to inform a details inform the information, knowledges to the written, and also in other cases, the poetry is written in order to console somebody. And if you want to celebrate an event or the situation, you can also write a poem in order to celebrate. So poetry has all kind of different purpose, and thinking about why this poem is written will help you to understand the meaning of the poetry. Okay, and here, we have tones and mood and atmosphere. So the poets adopt a certain tone in order to create a mood and atmosphere. So tone and mood has a cause and effect relationship. By using a certain tone by a poem, he create a certain mood on the poem. And just because poet use a certain tone doesn't mean that he create a same kind of mood with the tone. In other words, let's say that for instance, poet can use a sarcastic tone. Poet can adopt a sarcastic tone in his poem, and by using a sarcastic tone, he end up creating a very humorous mood, very humorous atmosphere in the poem. So the readers can feel something humorous by reading a sarcastic tone of the poet. So the tone and mood has a cause and effect relationship, and certain tone doesn't necessarily create a same kind of mood from in here. Okay, so other elements that we want to think about is vocabulary or the word orders. So each poet have different diction. Diction, I told you previously that it's a series of words and bunch of words and collection of words. So each individual poet use particular dictions, and sometimes they just break the rules. They break the grammar intentionally in order to create unique atmosphere, in order to deliver their own message in unique way. So think about why a poet used a certain word order and why he used a certain diction. It will definitely help you to understand the meaning of the poem. And when you think about diction, we have two different concepts here. So denotation is literally the meaning of definition, meaning of the dictionary. Okay, so denotation is literally, it means the same word that's defined by definition. So sometimes the poets, they use a word with a denotation, and conversely, we have a concept called connotation. Connotation means more even deeper meaning. So by using a connotation, a certain word or one word can carry various number of meaning at the same time, depending on the context and depending on the purpose that poet uses. One word, the same word, create different set of meaning at the same time. So when you try to analyze, understand the meaning of the poetry, it's worse that you approach the denotation and connotations of particular word and dictions that's used in a poem. Okay, so this is how far we covered last time about the study of some of the key elements. And again, thank you for listening, guys, and we'll continue our lesson in next video. Okay, guys, thank you. Bye.